welcome to 5 Minutes a Day with Annamarie Valles. And if you're just joining, I encourage you to subscribe and to like and to tell your friends. And we do all this so that others can be exposed to the gospel, that others could hear the good news. So thanks for joining, and thanks for using this tool to just get into the habit of spending time with Jesus. Good morning and welcome to Friday. And we are in a new chapter this week, or today, chapter 19. We are going through the book of Luke. We started in January, and we're taking our time to really look at what the gospel says about Jesus, his life, how he lived, and his words for us today. So let's look as we start a new chapter in verse 1 through 10. Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man, too, is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." All right. This, again, is a very popular story, especially in Sunday school. I heard the story, know the song. And so, let's just see, Zacchaeus, he comes to Jesus in a way that is contrary to the way the rich young ruler came, right? So the rich young ruler, he had wealth as well, and he came to Jesus saying, "Look, I've done all this, I earned my way to salvation." Whereas Zacchaeus is throwing himself at the mercy of Jesus. And so let's look at a little bit about the story. First of all, he was the chief tax collector, so he employed others to collect taxes. So again, they're cheating their own people, the Jewish people, of taxes, because they're charging them higher taxes than what they actually needed to charge them. And so because of that, he was greatly hated, right? He was not popular. And so it's interesting, so because of that, he didn't have a social life. It's interesting. So here's this crowd, right? And Jesus is coming through, and people are trying to see him. And so they're all like pressed up, trying to see Jesus coming through. And that's all Zacchaeus wanted. At this point, that's all he wanted, is he just wanted to see Jesus. It doesn't say that he wanted to ask Jesus or anything. He just wanted to see Jesus. And what's interesting is I share this issue with Zacchaeus because I'm short in stature. And so whenever I go to like a parade or a concert or something where it's hard to see, so usually I can just kind of nudge my way through and kind of smile and just kind of go, like, look at me, I can't see as well as you can. And people are usually gracious at, "Oh, come on, you can come closer," right? And so it's interesting because Zacchaeus couldn't do that, right? That's what short people do. They kind of smile and like hope people are kind to them and let them go up to the front. But Zacchaeus couldn't do that because he wasn't popular. Nobody was going to let him through. So his only choice to see Jesus would be to climb on this tree. So he goes further away, and he knows that on this tree he could have a good view on seeing when Jesus comes through. And what's interesting, that all Zacchaeus wanted was to see Jesus, but Jesus stopped right when he went under Zacchaeus. When he was in Zacchaeus' sight, he stopped. And what's interesting about this phrase is Jesus doesn't ask. He doesn't say, can I come to your house to eat? What he says, I must stay with you. And because Jesus saw that Zacchaeus was part of his divine mission, even though Jesus' mission, of course, his greater mission was the cross, but on his way, these are also missions, right? On his way, he was doing whatever he could to like heal the broken, heal the blind, and restore those to faith. And so he just didn't. Sometimes I know in ministry, I'm just like, okay, I have this thing to go to, this Bible study or this youth group. But along the way that I'm on my way to youth group and Bible study, I don't see that there's also people that I need to minister to. Maybe that phone call that I need to take on my way that I'm too busy for. Or that person that I need to talk to and build a relationship with that I pick up pizza each week. Right? There's on our way to the greater mission, there's a mission that Jesus had as well. And so Zacchaeus was so excited, and he said yes. He was full of joy that Jesus would spend time with him. And so what's interesting is the crowd's response, right? They still don't get it. They still don't see that Jesus' heart was to come to save the lost. Jesus came for the sinner. He came for the tax collector. He came for the fringe of society. And the crowd was thinking, why didn't Jesus come to stay at my house, right? I'm a scribe, I'm a Pharisee, I'm a ruler, I'm this, I'm so important. Why wouldn't Jesus stay with me? Because Jesus came for the people that are often overlooked. And so it's interesting about Zacchaeus' response. So when restitution was voluntarily made, the law only required for 1/5 of it to be restored. Only 1/5. So Zacchaeus went above what the law required, and he did. And so he gave way more back than what was asked. And so when Jesus said salvation came to this house, he's acknowledging that he's the son of Abraham, that he was also part of this fold that Jesus was trying to reach, right? Because they treated Zacchaeus as an outcast, but he was Abraham's son, and Jesus came to seek those that had fallen away, that those were lost. Maybe Zacchaeus knew the law. Maybe he had gone to temple. He knew about the Torah, and he knew about what was required of him, but he had strayed by cheating his people, and Jesus came to restore him and bring him back to the fold. And what a beautiful story, again, that Jesus' heart is for the lost. So let's keep bringing our lost friends, our lost family members, our lost classmates to the throne. Let's keep asking for their salvation, because that's what God's heart is he came to seek those who are lost. Amen. See you next week.